Hi, this is Ken. This spiritual video is called Behind the Veil. When we are first born, our eyes are quite clear. What we see is crystal clear. Everything looks perfect. But right after we are born, our ego is formed, which is everything that we learn, believe, and accept to be true after our birth. We learn how to take care of ourselves. Our ego's concern is just for us to build up our self-esteem and to protect us from the world and to teach us how to get along as well. But it also creates a veil that goes over each of our eyes, which instead of seeing the world now through crystal clear eyes, it is now dulled depending on how thick our veil becomes. The more we believe everything that we were taught, that success in life means that we need to get a good job, make a lot of money, worry about ourselves, have some nice material possessions such as a house, a car, a family, and be able to do the best things that life offers. If we believe that and worry just about ourselves and no one else, then our veil is fairly thick as we remain asleep in a world that is very self-centered, concerned only for itself and not for others. For many people, they go through their entire life wearing a veil. Instead of seeing crystal colors and seeing the world as it is meant to be seen, they rather see it diluted by the thickness of the veil that there is. Though they may realize there may be more to life than just being successful and just surviving, they still cannot see the world clearly as they once did before they took their first breath and their ego was formed. There may come a time during our life, though, even if we are successful in life and have achieved all of the goals that we had hoped to achieve, that we may awaken, sensing the very first messages from our spirit within. Our spirit's messages, which represents a piece of God, our higher self, have been dominated by our overpowering ego and therefore before have never been able to be heard. But now all of a sudden, despite our success or where we are in our life journey, we begin to sense that there may be more to life than just what we learned. As the messages of our spirit become clearer, we realize that much of what we learned was simply not true. And we begin to need to make changes in our life as we truly seek to find meaning within our journey through life. We realizing that though we have a good job and we have material possessions and we make enough money and we are able to enjoy things and have a family, it does not satisfy that urge within us to discover if there is more to life than just what we learned. At this point, very often we begin to reevaluate our friendships, perhaps our marriage, our job, and everything else in our life, as many people remain asleep, not on the similar journey, still interested in all of the things that used to interest you, but no longer seem to have validity in your life anymore. You now have little patience for the games that other people play and continue to play as they seek their answers in the world where they may never be found. You start to see the world through clearer eyes as the veil you are wearing begins to lighten and become less thick. And you begin to observe that you perhaps, instead of worrying only about yourself, which is following your egoistic beliefs, you now desire to learn more about what the spirit's path is. The spiritual path through life is the path we are meant to pursue. Our spirit's purpose is to guide our lives with its inherent wisdom and unconditional love that we are then meant to share with all others, regardless of our differences, whether they are close to us or whether they are strangers. Our purpose in life is to share our spirit's wisdom and love with all others so that they may find their purpose and meaning in life as well. What enlightenment is the complete acceptance of the spiritual path. Though some people have awakened and are on the path toward enlightenment, if they still even accept partially their beliefs that they once learned, their egoistic beliefs, then they never will progress all the way to enlightenment. Enlightenment is the complete acceptance of the spiritual path through life. And though the ego will remain with us and is necessary, it now accepts a very minor role in our life instead. And with this, the acceptance of the spiritual path, trying selflessly to help all others, regardless of whether we know them or not, regardless of any differences there may be between us, the veil that once covered our eyes is now fully lifted. And once again, just as before we took our first breath, we see the world through clear eyes. We see a sky unblemished by clouds. We see water unpolluted, clear, as so we can see right through to the bottom. We see trees with green, very bright leaves, not yellowed as they are preparing to fall. A world without our veil is the world we are meant to pursue. The great majority of the world have a veil over them. Many remain asleep with the veil being very thick. Those who awaken, the veil begins to thin. It is only when you completely accept the spiritual path, though, that your veil may be removed once again, and you may see the world through the clear eyes that we were always meant to see it through, the eyes of enlightenment. This is Ken with another spiritual video.